Are you guilty of using spirituality as a means of escape? Do you think you need to be physically present in a space to align your life? Are you of the view that you need intellectual understanding of subjects to evolve? In this video, I will explore 3 real-life situations that throw light on how spirituality can make you delusional. The first situation is a more adverse example where I will discuss loss. A woman aged 50 died soon after a prolonged illness got escalated. She was survived by her husband, her 19-year-old son, and her family. She was a wonderful, approachable woman with a great sense of humor. I knew her to be devoted towards a spiritual organization, and she was volunteering for initiatives attached to it frequently. That path gave her peace, and it was evident. I was at a gathering where her life was being celebrated, and I saw her son, at a loss of words, as you would be, and his head bowed down. I also remember some people from the organization she was attached to attending the gathering, and one of them singled out the 19-year-old boy and with a lot of certainty suggested to him that he should follow his mother's path and get into spirituality to deal with his mother's death and not be sad. I'm outside the situation but present in the room. This holier-than-thou attitude and recommendation was one of the most insensitive statements I heard during the gathering. It's not that this path is wrong or wouldn't help in dealing with loss, because frankly I don't know. But what I do know is that it may not be the immediate path that the teenage boy would have the capacity for. And he should be encouraged to grieve in whatever way he deems fit, without the pressure of doing it right. There is no right here. What is dangerous is the recommendation to escape from dealing with the death of his mother by a so-called spiritual person who is operating on false humility and by giving a blanket statement on what he needs to do. Even in non-emergency situations, several such recommendations come up where people are directed towards organized sects or paths. That will certainly help if you choose it or are drawn to it. But you cannot use it to avoid feeling the emotions that you are specifically feeling and those that you need to address. The second situation is a moderate example where I will discuss unintentional bribery. If you've ever been to religious places where people want to jump the queue to get to be in close physical proximity with a deity, as the belief is that that would lend them the grace of the deity faster, or even if they are in a geographical place which is known to be a high energy space due to its geometry, you may have noticed that people pay more to be physically close to the energy source. Do you really think that using a shortcut will align your life better? It may give you a more comfortable experience, but that's the customer experience element of it. This does highlight the power of money, a very valuable and desirable commodity. But we must have the clarity that we can choose to make an experience comfortable, but that may not eliminate the perseverance you would need to walk down a laborious path to get what you want or to align your life in general. I have seen that many people naturally choose ease over challenges, but the commonality between them is that if they choose the easy path, they unabashedly believe that their action will give them what they set out to do. This idea, when applied in the example of visiting spiritual places and paying a higher price for a better experience, would mean that this action is not done out of fear and is backed by unwavering belief. It can be done with humility, but shouldn't come from a place of fear. In the law of attraction and manifestation space, people use declarations, where you command the universe to bring you your desire, but you are operating with an unshakable belief. You truly must feel it. You can't trick the universe or a deity or a high energy place that you count as being spiritual. The residual feeling will be communicated. The third and final situation I will discuss is a benign example where I will discuss how people confuse playing scholar with being spiritual. If you get deeply involved in any path that you describe as spiritual, and if you've seen my previous video, you would know that I'm not equating spirituality with any organized path. We can all be in the spiritual pool in a different category, and you can be inclined to gain more theoretical knowledge on the subject just because you're passionate about it. I have seen many a times that people who have read multiple textbooks on a subject start quoting scholars. And when a debate is struck between such parties, there is a lot of value being put on who's read more, who knows about texts more accurately, etc., etc. Gaining information is not a measure of spiritual evolution. I have often found the presence of a dominant ego and an assumed righteousness in such people, and that's definitely not any kind of spirituality that attracts people. It's much harder to practice the content that any of these texts espouse. So let's say we pick the first category from my last video, which is around devotion. You can read stories on devotion that make you feel good, and then you get drawn towards more and more such texts. But you are ultimately spiritual if you take a source of devotion that you naturally have an affinity for and practice it and actually go through the experience of it. That's spirituality at its best. If you would like me to create videos on a particular topic linked to the subject of spirituality, please write to me on my email address, which is included in the description box. That's all I have to share in this video. Please do comment if you have a different perspective, and I would be interested to know your views. Creating these videos help me with inner reflection. I hope that the content on my channel can help you to reflect on your emotions. Thank you for watching till the end. I'll see you in the next video.